right, guys, this is Crazy Kev here. I'm here with my man Frank Wells. Frank, how we doing, my man?
Everything's great, man. Feeling good. How are you?
Awesome. I'm doing good, man. I can't complain. And Frank, man, you got a fight coming up August 30th. I mean, talk to us a bit more about this matchup here.
Yeah, this is actually a guy that I was sent a couple years ago. At the time they denied it, but again, that was 2 years ago. So he's had a bunch of fights. He's feeling good. He's got some wins. He fought one of my teammates last year. So he's a guy I've had my eye on for a little bit, and now we're crossing paths. So time to go see what's up.
Yeah, no, it's definitely awesome. And now you're coming off a big win here. I mean, talk to us a bit more about your confidence going into this one as well, too.
Yeah, it feels really good. I was matched to fight the guy that fought in December. I was matched to fight him in August. He got hurt. And then, we got rematched up for December and I was able to win pretty decisively. It was just a decision, but basically I controlled the entire fight. And it was good. It was a guy who came, he fought a lot of times out in Georgia, the country. He had a bunch of submission wins. He was coming off of a win for Ring of Combat and became a champion over there and then moved on over to me. And so it's like a guy that's established and he's fought tough competition and I beat him pretty handily. Or really only got hit clean one time and it still really didn't hurt. And I cut him up. I stopped all of his takedowns. I swept him. I did pretty much whatever I wanted for the majority of the fight. So that felt pretty good.
Yeah, no, it's definitely awesome to have a performance like that for sure, man. And now another thing, you mentioned that Patton's been on your radar for a little bit. I mean, what are you kind of doing in training camp to kind of prepare for this one here?
I mean, it's kind of the same thing I do with all of my opponents is I find as many of his fights as I can and I watch him back from as far back as I can go up until the most recent ones, and he just fought. By the time we fight, it'll be about 4 months ago. So I get a pretty good idea of where he's good and where he's, got some things that he needs to work on. And again, as I look over time, I can see things that have stayed a part of his game throughout the years and some things that are new. So if he's been doing something in his fight since 2015 and he just fought 4 months ago, it's unlikely that's going to change in, that amount of time. And then I can kind of see the progression of his skills in other areas too. So I like to do that. I like to get a track record and get an idea for how they fight and what sticks and what changes and what's growing. And, see how that matches up against my skill set and then work from there.
Yeah, no, it's definitely an awesome way to kind of look at it for sure. And now you mentioned, kind of comparing your skill set with his. It seems like he's going to probably be trying to go for the wrestling and take down this fight. I mean, how do you plan to kind of stop that one in this fight here?
Yeah, I mean, so I'm always working on on everything, So I've been trying to build my skills regardless. And then again, leading into the fight that I had in December against a really good jujitsu guy was, I mean, I spent 4 straight months of 2 hours a day, 5 days a week, just not getting pinned down, just not being able to be held down. So I just feel confident that he's not going to be able to hold me down. That's it. I just put too much time in, too many reps for him to hold me there. And he's a willing striker too. I think I'm a better striker, but he's got a good chin. He's willing to exchange. So like he is dangerous in multiple areas. So I'm preparing for all of that. But yeah, I think if he is even able to take me down, he's gonna have a really tough time holding me down.
Yeah, no, I definitely think that's a fair assessment for sure, my man. You definitely, it's definitely going to be an interesting fight. And now another thing I was curious about. I mean, you've obviously fought a lot of tough competition throughout your career. I mean, how far do you think you maybe are from maybe going into like maybe the UFC or PFL or something like that?
I gotta say rather that I think PFL is probably a more realistic goal at this point, just for like my age and my record. Um, Yes, I mean, I think just a couple wins away would put me there. Multiple guys that I've beaten in the past have fought for PFL, and even guys that I lost to but had really competitive fights with have fought for PFL. So I gotta imagine that I'm pretty close to there with a few more wins.
Yeah, no, I definitely would agree with that as well too. But one of your last opponents, David Mohegan, I mean, he just got the call to Dana White Contender Series. I mean, what do you kind of think about that call as well?
Oh, I didn't see that, but that doesn't surprise me. Yeah, so I mean, that was a guy that I was like super upset about my performance in that one. We're just like he was good, like very, very good grappler. He's like kind of what inspired me spending all that time not being able to get pinned down because he was like shockingly strong and fast in especially in certain positions. But he's quick, he's tough, and again, like exceptional grappling. So it's interesting to see where he'll go from that. I watched his last couple fights and it looked like he had improved his striking, but even that's a guy like I show up a little bit clear in my mind and perform to my abilities, I wash him because I basically only threw fucking leg kicks the whole fight, and he still got wheelchaired out of there, and clipped me in an exchange where I got lazy. But that's a guy on my worst day that I had put in real trouble. So that's a place that I could see me getting to. But as far as, again, that was about a year ago. I think he'll do well because, again, he's got an okay gas tank and extremely good grappling. And I think he's 7-0 now with 6 finishes, or 8-0 with 7 finishes, something like that. And he's like 21. So whether he goes forward with Dana, like if he gets signed off of Dana White's Contender Series or not, I think he's UFC bound, at some point, for being so young and having so much experience and skills.
Yeah, no, I would definitely agree for sure. And yeah, he's going to be fighting in September against Tommy McMillan. So one of the Sugar Sean
Okay.
Malley guys. So it's definitely going to be a good fight. I'm definitely interested to see how that one goes. No doubt about it. And
Yeah.
now, like you've mentioned, you've obviously fought some tough guys, win or lose. I mean, what do you think is maybe some things that you've maybe learned throughout your fighting career?
The thing I definitely have noticed, and I kind of knew this, but then I let my ego run the show a little bit. Uh, Bigger shows don't really care about who you fought; they just care about your record. Or it's like, there was a guy I got matched up with, and he ended up not being able to fight, but he was like 5-0 with 5 first-round finishes. And then you look at his record, he's like, oh, he beat 2-9 and a 1-7, and some guys like 15 and 96 losses. Like legit, that's like the guys he beat to get to Contender Series. And but all they see is like 5-0, 5 first-round finishes. And it's like, oh, you fought a bunch of morons. You know what I mean? Where it's like, I think the advice, I guess I would say, was it would be get good matchups and guys that you can dominate or beat, and and then fight the real tough competition when you're on the real high competition level, as
Right.
opposed to, I've had 10 fights all for CFFC, and like 4 guys are undefeated, like 2 guys have had 1 loss. So like, took a tougher route. So I'd say maybe things I learned would be pick your opponents a little bit more carefully so you can really secure getting yourself to that next level before you take on like mega tough competition.
Yeah, no, I definitely think that's a good mindset to have. And now another thing with that, now when it comes to your matchmaking, would you maybe recommend trying to have like a good manager earlier on in your career, or maybe just you kind of pick your matchups yourself?
Um, Mostly rely on your coaches. To be
Okay,
honest, I had a manager for like 5 months and it did nothing for me at
okay,
all. And like, quite honestly, CFFC was very clear about it. It was like, we don't really care if it's you reaching out to us or your coach or somebody else. Like, I have a pool of guys that want to be on this show. I'm going to send them your way, and you say yes or you say no, and that's kind of it. You know what I
right.
mean? So I don't know why I'm giving a guy 15% of my money or 10%, whatever it is, an already small amount of money to begin with. But like, why am I going to give that if it doesn't actually make a difference?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah, 100%. No, I definitely think that's a good way to put it for sure. And what fight do you think you're maybe most proud of in your MMA career?
I would say probably my best to perform. I'll say this: there's a couple ways I feel like looking at that. If you don't mind, I'll scrape through all of them. Is Probably the one I'm like almost like probably the happiest with was when I fought Will Rents. So I came off a very very close loss to a guy, Tim Kwamba, who's in the UFC now, and I had fights fall through literally every month of the year up through December. So I was like in fight camp for legitimately 10 months and had 2 fights in that time. And that was just like the first time I put in a big block of training with my head MMA coach without a fight. And I was really happy with how the improvements showed in the fight. We're like, I could just pick out drills that we did in practice. And I was like, oh, that's that drill. Oh, that's that drill. And I just like hit them in live competition. So that was really cool. Um, the fight that I showed probably like the one of the best versions of myself was when I fought Jose Perez for the CFFC belt, where I just had like really good versatility and creativity. I just made a mistake in the grappling, so I still lost, but I had about 13 really really good minutes. Um, and then probably like one that I was the happiest with was when I fought Ontario Gladney. I like came off like a surgery, an injury. I went up a weight class on like 4 weeks notice. And I got basically knocked out in the first round, but still was like wrestling through while I was unconscious. And I ended up stopping him with leg kicks in the second round. So it was really cool to be like, get dropped, get tossed around, be like the live odds would have been bananas if there was gambling on there, and then to come back and win early in the second round was like probably the one I'm most proud of in that sense.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That's definitely some cool memories for sure that you definitely shared. And now, obviously, in your game, you always have some awesome leg kicks. I mean, talk to us a bit more
Mhm.
about maybe like a beginner that's throwing leg kicks. I mean, like how would you kind of make them up to your level one day?
Throw them a lot in practice.
Yeah,
So, but learning how to set them up and learning
right.
how to recover from them. 'Cause that's the thing, guys. I always, from the beginning, I was able to kick really hard. But it was like if I kick a guy real hard and then I get punched 7 times afterwards, or like I kick real hard right into their shin and then they can counter or they're not that affected by it. It doesn't really matter like about the kick itself because it's not that effective. Um, so the big thing is setting up the leg kicks, learning how to throw them real hard, and then being accurate with them as well. Again, so you're not punting people in the shin and in the knee and all that stuff. You like learn how to land it in good places. And
Yeah,
then just like a subsect of that, I started getting good at that because I had a natural inclination towards the leg kicks. If you have a natural inclination uh to be good at something, like find out how to get really good at it and how to make that a big part of your game.
yeah. No, I definitely think that's interesting for sure. And now, when you're throwing leg kicks, I mean, what do you think is the most damaging shot? Like, where are you kind of aiming on the leg, and what part of your foot are you, or even leg, are you using when you're throwing them?
Definitely calf kicks would be the most damaging. So like if I could hit low, like below the knee, obviously it's been really prominent in MMA, the last couple years. But yeah, if you can hit below the knee, it just like shuts people's legs off, or like they're just not conditioned to it. You know what I mean? So like it really slows it down. And there was a second part of that question that I already forgot. I'm sorry.
Yes. Your shin, your foot. What are you kind of using when you're
Oh yeah,
throwing?
yeah, yeah. When I'm hitting the calf kicks, it's really more towards like the very, very bottom of my shin or even sometimes my foot, just because I'm just trying to get it there fast. That's it. You don't have to hit it mega hard to do damage. So just get it there and then get your feet back on the ground so you can defend or attack or whatever. And you just hit it right a couple times and it's going to be a wrap regardless of where you hit on your leg.
Yeah, no, I definitely think that's some good insight, and I definitely appreciate you sharing that for sure. And now your nickname, man, the Chopper, it's definitely an awesome nickname. I mean, talk to us a bit more about how you kind of got that one.
Yeah. So the assumed story is that I'm real good at leg kicks and I just kind of don't correct anybody. But realistically, it was my first kickboxing fight, and my coach was just in my ear, just yelling at me to be violent and be super violent, be violent, be. And I was like 19 years old. It was like I had a couple MMA fights, but it was my first kickboxing fight, so I was all nervous and jacked up and whatever. So we went out, we touched gloves. I threw a head kick that sailed over the kid's head, and I fell. And my coach was like, "Oh, you spun around like a helicopter," and then he just started calling me Chopper from there. So that's the real origin of the nickname. But people call me Chopper because I kick legs, and I'm like, yeah, definitely. Totally.
Yeah, no, that's definitely
Like,
a better one. There you go.
yeah.
No, that's hilarious, man. That's definitely
Yeah.
an interesting story for sure, man. I'm definitely glad you shared that one. And now another thing I was curious about as well too. I mean, obviously, you're a beast and whatnot in the cage, but what do you kind of like to do outside the cage when you're not in there training and fighting?
So I have 3 kids now. One, I have a stepson that I adopted. He's 10, but I also have my own that are 2 and 1. So it's basically that. I'm just working. I work at the gym that I'm at here doing PTs and running classes and do all that stuff. I have an online nutrition business that I help people like make weight and just lose weight in general. And then that's really it. I'm doing that and taking care of the babies because 3 kids and 2 under 2 is a lot. So uh that's it. I used to like go to the sauna and hang out with my friends, whatever, but that's for another time now.
Yeah.
Right now it's all babies and taking care of the kids and helping my wife out at home outside of working.
Yeah, no, it's definitely awesome to hear. And now you mentioned that nutrition stuff that you're doing as well. I mean,
Mhm.
how's that kind of helping you with your weight cuts, and then also, you're able to help other fighters as well.
Yeah, well, that was kind of the origin of it. Sorry, I'm just checking my. I'm gonna have to plug my phone in a second.
Okay.
But yeah, as far as yeah, so the origin of it was I was cutting like a good amount of weight for Muay Thai fights, and the weight class a little bit different. I was fighting 147, and I was like quite a bit bigger than everybody when I fought at that weight. And people are like, "How do you do that? Can you help me out?" And I was like, "I kind of just know what works for me, so I don't really feel that confident helping you out." So I just went and started getting formal information or formal education to learn like how nutrition works, how like electrolyte manipulation works to help with the weight cuts and just people dieting in general and their relationships with food. Um, and then I just kind of took it from there. And then I started helping people out once I felt confident having enough knowledge to pass that on to other people.
Yeah, no, that's incredible, man. I'm definitely glad you're able to share your knowledge for sure. And now, obviously, you have your fight coming up in August, but how active do you kind of plan to be in 2025?
Hopefully I can scrap another two out before the year's over because I like fighting a lot. Uh, I just had like other life circumstances kind of keep me from competing earlier this year. But I'm itching the whole time. You know what I mean? I'm training and like want to compete. I do best when I compete a lot. So, this is end of August. There's a show I know like mid or end of October, and then CFFC always does December. So like if I didn't fight until August 30th and I was still able to scrape three out, that's really cool. Who knows how realistic that is, but at least like to get one more in and then pick back up with the activity in 2026, fighting like three times a year at least, now that life's settled a little bit more.
Yeah, no, I definitely think that would be awesome to kind of see you active a little bit more in 2026. And Frank, man, it's been awesome having you on the show. I appreciate it a lot. I mean, what's maybe your final message out there to the fans watching this video?
Well, man, as far as fans, like I appreciate everybody's support so much. It's like I've said this a couple times in posts, but it's always good to put it out there too. Is it seems like regardless of if I win or if I lose, I get equal amounts of love from people, and that's really cool. Where it's not like I get a million messages when I win and three when I lose. It's like no, it's every time. Everybody's always been super supportive. Knowing that I put my heart and soul into like training and fighting, like competing at the best of my ability and trying to balance the rest of life. So just the consistent support, regardless of result, has been super awesome and keeps you going on the low days for sure.
Yeah, no, I definitely think that's an awesome message. And Frank, we're looking forward to seeing your fight August 30th. And I appreciate you taking the time, my man.
Yeah, man, absolutely. I'll catch you then. And yeah, thanks for the interview. It's gonna be a great show.